Behind this wall sits enough water to drown an entire city, trillions of liters pushing against it every single second without rest. And yet, this wall of concrete just stands there, holding it all back. One side, a deep ocean of water. The other, a valley full of homes. So how does a single wall hold back that much force without being crushed? This is how a dam tames one of the most powerful forces on Earth. To understand a dam, you first have to understand its enemy, water pressure. Here is the key. The deeper the water, the harder it pushes. Near the surface, the pressure is gentle, but at the bottom, it is immense. This is why the water pushes hardest at the very base of the dam, and the amount of force is almost unimaginable. Millions of tons pressing constantly. The dam has one job: resist all of that force and never move, not even a little. And remember, this force never takes a break, not for a second. Day and night, summer and winter, for 100 years, the water keeps pushing. A dam cannot get tired. It cannot have a weak moment. It must hold, perfectly, forever. And it does this not with brute strength alone, but with clever shape. Because here is the thing. If you just built a simple flat wall, the water would snap it in half. The force at the bottom is simply too great. Raw concrete is not enough. The secret is not just how strong the dam is. It is how the dam is shaped to handle the force. Look at a dam from the side, and you will notice something. It is a giant triangle. Thin at the top, where the water is weak, and incredibly thick at the bottom, where the water is strongest. That huge base does two things. Its sheer weight anchors the dam to the ground, and its shape turns the water's sideways push into a force pressing safely into the earth. Some dams go even further. They curve, like an arch, facing the water. This arch shape pushes the water's force sideways into the solid rock walls of the canyon, so the mountains themselves help hold the water back. The dam and the earth become one. Every curve, every angle is designed to send that crushing force somewhere safe. This is why there are two main types: massive gravity dams that hold the water back with pure weight, and thin, elegant arch dams that pass the force into the rock around them. One wins with mass, the other wins with clever geometry. Both turn an impossible force into something a wall can survive. But a dam is only as strong as what it stands on, so before building, engineers dig down to solid bedrock. The dam is anchored right into it. If the ground underneath is weak, water can seep under and the whole dam could fail. So the rock beneath is sealed and reinforced to stop water from finding a path, because water never gives up. It constantly searches for any crack, any gap, any weakness. So dams are built with hidden drainage channels inside. These safely collect any water that seeps in. This releases the pressure before it can build up and threaten the structure. A great dam is not just a wall. It is constantly managing the water, inside and out. In fact, inside a large dam is a hidden world. Tunnels, corridors, and control rooms buried deep in the concrete. Engineers walk through the inside of the wall itself, checking on it every single day. From the outside, it looks like a solid block. Inside, it is alive with monitoring. Here is a problem. What happens when heavy rain fills the reservoir too high? If the water ever flows over the top, it could erode and destroy the dam. So dams have spillways, giant channels that safely release extra water. Think of it as a pressure release valve for the entire reservoir. Massive gates can open and close, letting operators control exactly how much water flows out. When those gates open fully, the power is breathtaking. A controlled waterfall of raw force. By carefully managing these gates, the reservoir is always kept at a safe level, never too full. And operators plan ahead. They watch the weather and the seasons. Before heavy rains arrive, they can lower the reservoir on purpose to make room. Managing a dam is not just about holding water. It is about staying one step ahead of nature every single day. But a dam does more than hold water back. Often it turns that water into electricity. Water from high in the reservoir is channeled down through huge tunnels. As it falls, gravity gives it enormous energy and speed. At the bottom, the rushing water slams into a turbine and spins it fast. The spinning turbine turns a generator, creating electricity. This is hydroelectric power. Clean, renewable power, made from nothing but falling water. And the reservoir works like a giant battery. The water waits, holding energy until it is needed. Open the gates and power flows. Close them and it waits. Energy stored in a lake. Some dams do something even cleverer. When power is cheap, they pump water back up into the reservoir. Then, when demand spikes, they release it again for instant power. It is one of the biggest batteries humanity has ever built. A whole lake storing energy for a city. Now for the frightening question. What if a dam actually broke? The result would be catastrophic. A wall of water racing downstream, destroying everything in its path. This is exactly why dams are among the most monitored structures on Earth. Thousands of sensors watch for the tiniest crack, movement, or leak around the clock. Engineers inspect them constantly. Even a millimeter of unexpected movement is taken seriously. Built right and watched closely, a great dam can stand safely for over 100 years, holding back an ocean, powering a city, and never once giving in. When you really think about it, a dam is one of humanity's boldest ideas. We looked at a river, one of nature's most powerful forces, and decided to stop it. Not to fight it, but to tame it. To turn its raw power into light, water, and life for millions of people. And it all rests on one carefully shaped wall. Think about the trust that takes. Entire towns live downstream, going about their lives, because they know that wall will hold. And for 100 years, it does. That is not luck. It is careful shape, solid rock, endless monitoring, and deep human ingenuity, all working in silence. A dam is a quiet giant, a single wall standing against unimaginable force for generations. And that raises a new question. We hold back oceans of water, but how do we build a tower half a kilometer tall that does not fall over in the wind? That is coming next on System Logic. If you learned something new, subscribe, because the world is full of invisible systems, and we are just getting started.